Very good morning, students. In this class in BSc third year medical, we are going to study two subjects in semester 5th. They are developmental biology and genetics. And in sixth semester, they will be medical zoology and medical laboratory technology. We will start with genetics and then developmental biology. In developmental biology, you're going to study about the gametogenesis with particular reference to differentiation of spermatozoa, vitellogenesis and gametogenesis, about egg maturation, membranes, polarity, fertilization, basic concepts of organizers, inducers and their role. In section B, you will study about the embryonic development up to 3 germ layers in frog, chick and rabbit, and metamorphosis in Herdmania and rana. You will also study about the fetal membranes, their formation and role, mammalian placenta, its formation types and functions. In second paper, that is genetics, we are going to start with genetics. We will study in section A about the Mendel laws, non-allelic gene interactions, modified ratios, incomplete dominance, complete dominance, lethal codominance, lethal factors, pleiotropic genes, atavism, linkage, multiple alleles in blood group, eye color in Drosophila and pseudoallelism, multiple factors, qualitative and quantitative characters, and inheritance of quantitative traits. In section B, we will study about sex-linked inheritance, X-linked, Z-linked, Y-linked, XY-linked inheritance, extranuclear inheritance in coiling of shell in snail, and kappa particles in paramecium. We will also study about the genetic disorders in humans, Down syndrome, Cry-du-Chat, Turner's, Klinefelter's, alkaptonuria, sickle cell anemia, night blindness, muscular dystrophy, hemophilia, red-green color blindness. Next, we will study about population genetics, in which we will study about the equilibrium of gene frequencies and Hardy-Weinberg law. And lastly, we will study about the genetic recombination bacteria, the conjugation, transduction, transformation, recombinant DNA technology, genetic cloning and its application in medicine and agriculture, and DNA fingerprinting. Both the papers will carry 35 marks each, and 2 separate theory papers will be there. You have to pass collectively and aggregate in these 2 papers. Both the papers will carry 3 sections A, B and C. A section will comprise of 4 long questions, out of which you have to attempt 2 questions carrying 6 marks each, and C section will be compulsory, carrying 11 short answer type questions carrying 1 mark each. And the practical for both the papers will be taken collectively, and this is the practical, in which we have to do the practicals of the genetics by demonstrating the various crosses of the Mendels with the help of colored beads and with numericals, and then we have to do dermatographics. We have to study the development of the chick embryo through slides, gametogenesis, sperm and egg of structure, their structure of mammalian structure, egg and sperm of a mammalian, and there will be a project regarding the human characteristics, dermatographics and developmental biology. So today we will start with genetics. So genetics was a term which was coined by William Bateson in 1906. It is basically the branch of the biology which deals with the study of the genes, genetic variation and heredity in organisms. Variations, what are these variations? Basically, the variations are the differences in individuals in their form, size, color, structure, function and their behavior of the same species. These variations are very important because they make the organic evolution possible. Heredity is the transmission of the characters, whether they are resemblances or the variations, from one generation to another. It is also referred to as the inheritance. In sexually reproducing and in asexually reproducing organisms, the variations are different because in sexually reproducing organism, it is biparental. 2 parents are involved in sexual reproduction, so the offspring receives the characters from 2 individuals. So variation is very common in animals and plants. In sexual reproduction, when identical twins are born, because of the separation of the blastomeres, they are cloned to each other, but they are offsprings and different to their parents. In asexual reproduction, which occurs in prokaryotes, amoeba, euglena, yeast and molds in fungi, hydra, planaria, they are monoparental, and in these cases the variations are less commonly observed because they usually receive the genetic information from a single parent and they are identical to their parent. They are also referred to as the carbon copy of their parent, and such organisms which are carbon copy are referred to as clone. Therefore, asexual reproduction is also referred to as the clonal reproduction. Clones sometimes also develop variations because of the two factors. These may be the environmental influences, which are non-inheritable, and the mutations, which are stable and inheritable. So these are the different variations. These are the two factors which brings about the variations in the clones as well. So variations are basically of two types: the somatic or somatogenic variations and the germinal or blastogenic variations. Somatic or somatogenic variations occurs in the somatic cells, which are not inherited from parent to the next generation. Therefore, these variations are confined to the particular organism in which they occur and are not carried to the other generation, and they vanish as soon as the individual dies. These are also referred to as the acquired variation because it is acquired during the lifetime of an individual. These somatic or somatogenic or acquired variations occurs because of the environmental factors. Environment causes various variations in the individual. They adjust according to their environment. These factors include light. For example, in fish solia, which is flatfish, when it is born, it usually has eyes on both the sides and pigmentation on both the sides. But it has a tendency of resting on its left side. Therefore, the pigmentation on the left side is lost and the eye also shift towards the right side. It then tends to have eye on the right side, both the eyes on the right side. Habitat. What was done by a scientist, Stockard, what he did was he collected the eggs of the fish fundulus and kept it in the sea water and added magnesium chloride in it. The fishes which developed from it has a one median eye instead of the two lateral eyes. This brings about the conclusion that the change in the habitat brings about the variations in the acquired variations in the individuals. Nutrition also plays a very important role in bringing about the variation. The very good example of this is the honeybee. In honeybee, the workers are fed with the normal food, the pollen grains, and the individuals or the larvae which are fed with the royal jelly develops into queen. So the nutrition plays a very important role in bringing about the variation. Similarly, if two rabbits of the same age and size are fed with different diets, the one which is fed with a very good amount of the food develops into a strong rabbit with a very beautiful coat instead of the as compared to the other rabbit which is underfed. Then the temperature also plays very important role in bringing about the somatic variations. Usually the individuals living in warmer areas are shorter. They have long pinnas and tails. This is to increase the surface area by volume ratio so that the perspiration occurs and it brings about the cooling effect in individuals living in warm areas. The second factors which bring about the acquired variation are use and the disuse of organs. It usually occurs in the individuals and higher organisms. Usually in athletes, the muscles are highly developed as compared to the other individuals because of the excessive use of the organs. Conscious effects. Sometimes the variations are brought about by the individual's will, such as boring of pinna to wear earrings, tying up of the waist tightly by the European women so as to have the small waist, to have small foot. The Chinese women tend to wear tight shoes so as to have the small foot. Then comes the germinal variations or the blastogenic variations. These variations are heritable variations as they occur in the germ cells, and these germ cells pass on from generation to generation, from parents to the offsprings. These germinal variations are also referred to as the inheritable variations. These variations are of two kinds, the continuous and the discontinuous variations. The continuous variations are basically the small changes which occurs in the individuals. These are fluctuating variations. They are also referred to as sometimes the fluctuations. They usually fluctuate around a certain value, around a certain function, and there can be intermediate stages as well. These variations are unstable. They does not contribute to the formation of the new species. Continuous variation is a further of two types, the substantive continuous variation and the meristic continuous variation. The substantive continuous variation occurs in the size, weight, shape and color of the individual, It basically changes the appearance of the individual, such as the darker or lighter color of the individual, bigger size or the smaller size, heavy or light in weight, different shapes of the individuals, shape of the eye, nose, ear. These are all the substantive continuous variation. Then meristic continuous variation, they bring about the change in the number of certain parts of the organism. For example, there can be 4 or 6 arms in the starfish apart from the normal 5 arms. There can be large number of tentacles in the hydra. There can be different segmentation, number of segments in case of earthworm. Now, what are the causes of these continuous variation? These continuous variation is because of the new combinations of the genes which occurs during the gamete formation and during the act of fertilization when the two gametes unite so as to form the zygote. The other reason for this continuous variation is the crossing over or the recombination between the segments of the non-sister chromatids of the homologous chromosomes. Then is the discontinuous variations. These discontinuous variations are large conspicuous differences in the individuals. These are also referred to as the mutation or the sport or saltation variations, and the individuals with these variations are referred to as the mutants. There is no intermediate stage in discontinuous variations, and they appear suddenly and they are rare in occurrence. Like continuous variation, discontinuous variation also has two types: the substantive discontinuous variation and meristic discontinuous variation. Substantive discontinuous variation occurs in size, weight, shape and color as the continuous variation. For example, the short-legged Ancon sheep, the hairless varieties of dogs, cats and mice, brachydactyly, that is abnormally short fingers, and syndactyly, the fusion of the fingers. Then is meristic discontinuous variation. Like continuous variation, it also involves the changes in the number of the parts of the organism. For example, the polydactyly having extra number of fingers in the hand. Now, what are the causes of these discontinuous variation? The causes involve the changes in the genetic material, because it is involved. This is because of the changes in the genetic material which can be brought about by different factors. First is the chromosomal mutation. The chromosomal mutation may occur because of the deletion when there is loss of a part of the chromosome. Translocation, when one part of the chromosome gets cut from one side and is joined to the other homologous chromosome. Inversion, when there is the segment of the chromosome gets detached and then gets attached in the inverse order. And duplication, when there is duplication of the part of the chromosome. This brings about the chromosomal mutation. Then gene mutation, this basically occurs in the bases of the DNA. There can be deletion of one or more bases of the DNA, there can be addition of one or more bases of the DNA, or there can be substitution of one or more bases with the other bases of the DNA. Third, it can be brought about by change in the chromosome number, which can be due to non-disjunction during gamete formation. Suppose there is non-disjunction and all the chromosomes goes to one side and the other cell remains without any kind of chromosome. This brings about the change in the chromosome number. And polyploidy, when the diploid gametes fuse with the haploid gamete, they form triploid organisms and so on. This leads into the polyploidy condition. The discontinuous variations are also caused by the radiations. X-rays bring about the chromosomal or genetic material variations in the individuals, and the chemicals such as colchicine is also involved in causing the discontinuous variations. So this was the general introduction about the genetics. Now the main topic which is concerned with our syllabus is the Mendel's law. Basically, the unit of heredity, apart from being the structure and the function unit of the life, the cell is also the unit of heredity, because it includes the nucleus which has the chromosomes, and chromosomes have the genes, and these genes are responsible for producing a certain character or trait in an individual. The physical basis of heredity, that is the carrier of this heredity to carry the information, genetic information from the parent to the offsprings, are the gametes. And this was proposed by August Weismann in his theory, which is the continuity of the germ plasm. He proposed that the gametes are responsible for the continuity of the germ plasm from one generation to the next generation. These gametes are basically, these gametes as a whole does not contribute to the formation of a character. Instead, it has something which was called by Mendel as the factor, and now it is termed as the gene. which controls the expression of a character, and there is a particular gene for every character. The chemical basis of heredity is the DNA, and which are basically the genes which forms the physical basis of the heredity are the segments of the DNA molecule. So DNA forms the chemical basis of the heredity. Mendel published his findings in 1866 in Annual Proceedings of Natural History Society of Bern. He is regarded as the father of genetics. He worked on the garden pea plant Piscium sativum, and he was very lucky in finding the clear-cut laws of the genetics. He selected for conducting his experiments, he selected 7 pairs of contrasting traits, which were height, tall and dwarf, position of flower, axillary or terminal, color of pod, colored or white, form of pod, constructed or flattened, color of the seed coat or flower, color of the cotyledons, yellow or white, yellow or green, and the form of the seed, wrinkled or smooth. He was very lucky in his finding because the characters which he selected were the contrasting, and plus they were not blending with each other. So Mendel conducted various experiments. First of all, he conducted a monohybrid cross in which he considered only a single character for the inheritance. So we will discuss a single character, which is the height. The pure tall, this P represents the parental generation. Pure tall is represented by a pair of factor, which is capital TT, and the pure dwarf by a pair of other factor, which is small tt. This is the dominant trait and this is the recessive trait. In F1 generation, all the individuals were tall, and when he collected the seeds from these, after cell pollination of these plants, he collected the seeds, and then the individuals which he found in the F2 generation were tall as well as dwarf, but they were in the ratio of 3:1, 3 tall and 1 dwarf. In F3 generation, the dwarf produced only the dwarf plants, but the tall produced 1/3 of only the pure tall, and 2/3 of 3 tall is to 1 dwarf. 1/3 of plant produced only tall, and 2/3 of the plant produced 3:1 ratio of tall and dwarf plants. He found that F1 plants express only one contrasting trait, that is either the tall or the dwarf, and because the tall is dominant character, the tall was expressed in F1 generation. The results are independent of the parent's gender. He also repeated the experiment with the reciprocal cross, in which if this was the male and this was the female, then he reversed the cross. This became the female and this became the male. The results were independent of the parent's gender. In F2 generation, both contrasting traits appeared, both the tall as well as the dwarf, and F1 generation traits expressed by 3/4 of the F2 plants. 3/4 of the F2 plants were the F1 trait. The conclusions which were drawn from this Mendel's experiment, monohybrid ratio, which was 3:1, and the hidden ratio of 1:2:1, suggests that every character is controlled by a thing which was referred by him as the factor. He was not aware of the term gene at that time. Secondly, there is a pair of unit factor for each character, and this helped him designing the first law of heredity, which is the law of unit characters. That means for every character there is a pair of factor, either they appear in two contrasting traits like tall and dwarf, so there will be two factors, and this is the law of unit factors. Then he also found that certain factors do not express their characters in the F1 generation, but they do not, they remain the same, they do not change, and they again express themselves in F2 generation. Like in this cross, in F1 generation all were tall, but in F2 generation there was dwarf also. That means the genes or the factors for the dwarf trait were not expressed in F1 generation, but they were not changed and they got expressed in F2 generation. This gave rise to the second law of Mendel, which is the law of dominance, according to which some of the characters express themselves even in the presence of the other characters, and these are the dominant characters and the other were referred to as the recessive characters. Fourth, the factors segregate during gamete formation. The factors during the gamete formation, they segregate from each other, and this gave rise to the third law, which is the law of segregation, and they segregate independent of each other. According to him, there was no blending of characters between, no blending of character takes place, because all the characters, luckily, all the characters which he selected did not blend with each other, and there was no intermediate stage. Either the plants were tall or dwarf, or they were yellow, the seed color was yellow or green, or they were wrinkled or smooth. Next is the two factors same. The two factors are the same in the individuals which breed true, and the two factors are not same in the individuals which do not breed true. That means these factors, capital TT, is same in individuals which breed true, and they are different in the individuals which do not breed true. And lastly, the 3:1 monohybrid ratio is the hidden ratio of 1:2:1. That is, this is the homozygous tall, and these are the heterozygous tall, and these are homozygous recessive. So this ratio, which was obtained by the Mendel, is referred to as the Mendel's monohybrid phenotypic ratio. Thank you.